From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the evening news blast for March 28th, 2025. The Parkersburg News and Sentinel is reporting that the majority of the West Virginia Senate voted Monday for a bill that would remove non-discrimination ordinances adopted by 20 cities across West Virginia, protecting members of the LGBTQ community from being fired or evicted over their sexual orientation or gender identity. Senate Bill 579 relating to home rule reform passed 25-8 by a vote Monday afternoon, sending the bill to the House of Delegates. Senate Bill 579, which was recommended for passage by the Senate Judiciary Committee last week, would amend state code creating the municipal home rule program to make all municipal non-discrimination ordinances that recognize additional classes of persons not already listed for protection within the State Human Rights Act void and unenforceable. The purpose of Senate Bill 579 is to prohibit municipalities participating in the home rule program from establishing additional protected classes of persons beyond what is designated in state statute today, said Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Mike Stewart. West Virginia's Human Rights Act and the Fair Housing Act prohibit discrimination based on race, color, religion, ancestry, sex, familial status, blindness, veteran status, handicap, or national origin. Attempts over the last 15 to 20 years through the Employment and House Non-Discrimination Act or Fairness Act of amending both the Human Rights Act and Fair Housing Act to include sexual orientation and gender identity in the list of protective classes have failed. But around the same time frame, local cities and counties began adopting their own non-discrimination acts at the local level to include sexual orientation and gender identity, as well as creating their own human rights commissions. According to Fairness West Virginia, an LGBTQ advocacy organization, 20 cities and counties now have non-discrimination ordinances that include sexual orientation and gender identity, with Wardensville being the most recent city. Uniformity of law is critical to ensure all West Virginians are equally protected, said State Senator Brian Helton from Fayette, the lead sponsor of Senate Bill 579. A patchwork of varying local ordinances creates uncertainty for individuals and businesses. Centralizing anti-discrimination laws in our state allows a more efficient and consistent enforcement through dedicated agencies like the Human Rights Commission of West Virginia. Limiting protected classes to those within the State Human Rights Act stops the expansion of classes. Where does it end? It ends in overreach. The legislature passed Senate Bill 747, creating the Municipal Home Rule Pilot Program in 2007. The pilot program gave 4 cities, Charleston, Huntington, Bridgeport, and Wheeling, the same freedom to craft ordinances, rules, and regulations that they couldn't previously under state law. The Municipal Home Rule Board was created to manage the program. In 2019, the Municipal Home Rule Program was made permanent. Municipalities are considered subdivisions of the state and subject to most state laws, but home rule allows participating cities and towns to enact ordinances and rules and regulations not otherwise available. There are now 64 cities and towns in the home rule program. Under West Virginia law, cities are political subdivisions that are allowed to have laws and ordinances, but only when granted by the state of West Virginia, Helton said. We need to ensure that all citizens of our state enjoy equal protection, not just based on where you live or where you happen to be geographically at that particular moment of time. The bill is opposed by 44 current and former municipal mayors and council members who issued a joint letter criticizing the overreach by state lawmakers. To fight against these laws, we must remain strong and organized. Join our efforts. That's the News Blast for this hour. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. Up next is the National Weather Service forecast for the Meadville area on PEP Radio.